Welcome back to another episode of Scale Like a Savage, the podcast. I'm your co-host, Britany Boatwright, checking in from Knoxville, Tennessee. And of course, I have the lovely Jamie Seneca from down in South Florida checking in as well. What's up, Jamie?
What's up, guys? How's it going?
Today, Jamie and I have one of our favorite humans on the planet. And he's our favorite because honestly, he thinks so differently from us. We're in a group chat with this person and he'll send us something. And on the low, I'm just texting Jamie. I'm like, what the hell does it even mean?
What does that mean? I need to Google this.
So the first time Preston sent Jamie and I, like, what he said, SaaS. And I was like, I don't even know. So I was like, Claude, what does that mean? And I'm like, okay. I was like, I don't even know what these companies are that, a lot of real estate teams use, but apparently they're called SaaS. What does that even stand for again, Jamie?
I don't remember.
Preston, you tell us, because we don't even remember what it means.
I don't even know what I sent you.
You said all of these SaaS companies, sales and software something.
SaaS, SaaS, yeah.
Yeah.
Software,
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, software as a service. It's SaaS.
Yeah, those people that helps us run these real estate teams and operations across the country. But real quick, I'm going to do Preston's intro. Again, one of our favorite people. So we have to do this right, Jamie. Let's do the intro and then we're going to dive into the question, guys. So this is so extra. 2004, no team, no software, no company behind him yet, just Preston Guyton and a client list he built one deal at a time. 20 years later, that same guy is the founder and co-founder behind 4 companies: Easy Home Search, SureSend, Responsive Mortgage, Digital Maverick. He didn't stop at selling houses. He started building the tools other people use to sell them. Preston serves real estate agents, mortgage pros, home service businesses, and any leader running a team of agents who need more than one hustle to scale. If you got people on your roster and you're trying to grow past what you can personally close, this episode is built for you. Y'all get ready. This is a guy building the whole system behind selling and helping companies scale. Welcome to the show, Preston Guyton.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
We're so nice to have you. We were excited for today, every day, but we were excited.
I had to get highly caffeinated today for sure.
Yeah. You'll have to power through. So Preston, take us back and the viewers back to 2004, because we know some of your story, but we want to make sure that everybody gets to hear it too. And what did day one look like for you as a solo agent before you had a team, a system, or anything built?
Yeah, so for me, it started, I grew up in Myrtle Beach. I was in the restaurant industry. I took computer science in college. I didn't finish college. I had to move back to Myrtle Beach. My dad was real sick. He had emphysema during that time. So I moved back to Myrtle Beach and started working. I was still bartending, grew up in Myrtle Beach and not working restaurants, right? Like it's, so I was a really shy kid growing up, and working in restaurants obviously helped. You can't be shy and wait tables and bartend and all those things. So I did that. When I moved back in 2002 to Myrtle Beach, I still went and bartended and did some things there. Got my real estate license in 2004, early 2004, and focused on online lead gen right away. Like I built a custom website as soon as I got in the industry. I worked at Coldwell Banker Shakur in Myrtle Beach and focused on building a custom website. Back then it's called SEO Guy, which is now Real Estate Webmaster. So I worked with Morgan Carey, built the website, and within 6 months I was doing a lot of content and everything else, and I was back then it was beautiful. I was generating like 30 to 40 organic leads a day. Everybody answered the phone because nobody made phone calls. So it was like, I would say 80% of the people answered, and they're like, wow, I just signed up, you're calling me. And so, back then it was really good. It was totally different, than what it is today. But just, continued to focus on online lead gen, figured out quickly. I think I did 60 or 70,000 in my first 6 months and kept getting checks from Coldwell Banker. It was like 45% of the total commission. So I ended up going to Remax by the Sea. And then from there, the end of 2004, my brother passed away. So there was a lot of challenges with that. A couple of years later, my dad passed away. So, helping my mom through all those things, but just continue to really focus on online lead gen. Nobody really did it. I was ranking higher than most real estate companies in my market. And you're like, how the hell is this person doing it? It was just same thing I do now. I mean, I'll sleep in a little bit more now. So I'll get up at closer to 4:45, 5. But, back then I would wake up at 4 in the morning and I'd write blog posts. I would do all the content myself. I'd show property, so at one point, and then I continued to just do things like I started building houses as well. So I got my contractor's license in 2008. At one point I was licensed in like 25 states, something ridiculous. I had my MLO license, so my loan officer license in 6 states, and broker license in 2 or 3. So, but really just continued to focus on lead gen, and really that's the one, like, it's, you always say, like, do what you're good at for a long period of time. And that's, no matter what business I'm starting, that's really where I go, is like, how can we generate leads? How can we do the things? How can we show up online? So that's what I focused on in pretty much every business I built.
Yeah. So after you had this, success at the gate as a rookie agent and having the experience in providing leads at a very high level, when did you decide to start Palms Realty? Was that the first iteration of the company you started, or did you have a team first?
No, so I went to work with a guy. Actually, he was my manager for a restaurant I worked at. It was called Land on Water Realty. We did a development. So like in between all this, and then 2007, 6, 7, 8 happened, which was a train wreck. But I started selling like land development. So I did a lot of land sales. I did a lot of development sales. I started drawing, and so I would draw the houses we'd build. I would design them and draw. I would just hand draw them. So I started doing that, building quite a few houses. In 2010, the first company I started was actually CRG Companies, which was CRG Real Estate. So we did home design, we did custom home construction, and we did real estate sales. So that company, we did over $1 billion between 2010 and 20 in custom home construction, design, and actual general brokerage as well. So that company I ran for 10 years, brought in a partner in 2014, 15, ended up selling to him in 2020. But we mainly built oceanfront houses. We did a lot of other, but really a majority of the big builds we did, like we built a house for the CEO of United Healthcare. We built a bunch of houses. I mean, that house was amazing. It's 12,000 square feet, had a 75-foot wide pool with like a lap pool on it. So we did some pretty crazy houses during that time. So when I sold out of that, I actually helped start Revolution Mortgage in Myrtle Beach in 2018, 2019. So there's like a lot of things kind of intertwined together during that time. Helped run that, and we went from 0 to 150 million in loan volume a year. I think to 2020 or 21, that's what we did. Ended up getting out of that because I wanted to open up Palms Realty with Josh and Nick. And we opened that up in 2000, I think 21, maybe 22, 21, 22. I sent them, and I always talk about this, like, if I could get a one event, I would go to Tahoe. Like any business leader, team leader, that's the one event. Like I've seen it change so many people's lives. I had Josh and Nick who paid their own way to go there. I'm like, listen, to understand what is possible, you need to get in rooms outside of this city. So they went to Tahoe. They were in rooms, sitting with people who are doing 500 transactions, which seemed like absurd at the time for them. 1,000 transactions, 2,000 transactions, 3,000 transactions. So they went there and they came back. We opened up Palms, and then our first full year, we did over 500 transactions, I think. And then our second full year, we did 760 or 780, something like that. And then we ended up selling to Greg Harrelson in 2024. Yeah. And in the middle of that, we started Reside too, I think, somewhere along the way. That's what I'm saying. Like the last 6, 7, 8 years have been like a bunch of different things. And a lot of, I'm always in the place of like the CRM, the lead gen, building. I have a lot of really good relationships with people too. So, I don't just sit behind a computer and work on these things. I also build relationships and everything else. So, but yeah, it's been a wild ride. I started coaching it with John in 2017. My first event I went to with him was 2018. So I don't think there's a company I'm involved in that he's not a partner in some way.
So when anyone ever says they don't have enough time, they need to listen to this episode because clearly it's abundant.
Yeah, but it also, some of the things, like I'm really trying to scale back on just focus. I mean, it's not that hard for me, only because I do the same thing in pretty much every single business, right? Like it's not like, there's so many parallels between all 3 or 4 of them that it's, the same team that's part of Easy Home Search is part of SureSend. It's really not 2 separate companies. Easy Home Search Inc. owns Easy Home Search assets and SureSend assets. So it's pretty easy. It's much easier now. Like Reside was difficult because the coaching aspect of it, when I sold Palms Realty, like everybody's like, I don't want to coach with somebody that doesn't have a team anymore. So, that one was a little bit difficult. But like now, Responsive Mortgage uses SureSend CRM, so we're training and coaching them over there on that. Easy Home Search, obviously, the way we're rolling out exclusivity now is ties in SureSend to exclusivity. So you can do it, but to do it at a high level, you really need to be doing the same thing across all the different companies. It becomes too much when one's apples and one's oranges, and they expect you to spend 40 hours here or 40 hours there. And that's where it becomes difficult.
Preston, you said something I really want our audience to hear loud and clear. What made it super easy for you to build all 4 of these companies at once? So besides you focusing on one thing, what was the other component of it?
Just having good partners, really. It's having good partners. That's the thing too. Like I feel like I'm good at attracting good partnerships and hiring the right people. Like any company that I'm part of, I could have never done it myself. You'll never hear me say I either. Like it's just not in my vocabulary. I'm the one that I do not care about the recognition. I like recognition. Like, I don't think anybody doesn't like recognition, but you're not going to hurt my feelings if you don't recognize me. Like, it's just not who I am, right? Like, I'm okay in the back seat. I'm okay in the back of the bus and just continuing to do the work. I don't, that's one thing I never, like, I hate when people call me boss and, things like that. It's not what I care about, right? I care about bringing something forward that makes teams and companies more successful, makes more people more money. I mean, that's really what I care about now is how can I help people? If you think about it, like sometimes we question, and John shared something at the ranch, which is you take something in your life that you are stuck on and focused on in the past, and then draw a line down the middle of the paper and write that one thing over here, but then write all the good things that came from that one bad thing on the other side. You'll realize so many good things come from that one bad thing. So like for me, worst thing in my life at the time was my brother passing away, and then and I wish I had that conversation back then because, we stay so highly focused on that bad thing in our life, whatever it may be. But then you look at all the good things that came from it. So, for me now, it's like I just want to help people build businesses to find success. And for me, the recognition I don't really care about. That's nothing that gets me excited, to be honest with you.
We know that about you because at Response for the Ranch, you didn't get up and speak. And then when they're like, Preston's coming up to talk at Conversion Con, you have like a 15-minute thing. And he's like, all right, I'm off the stage now. He truly doesn't need the recognition. But I think that's just so atypical for most founders who want it to be all about them and their big vision, where your big vision is really to help people. Yeah. And you really do a great job of living it out. Again, Jamie and I talk often of you behind your back. We're like, man, we don't know why Preston likes helping us, but he's so awesome.
Yeah, it's just, it's always, somebody helped me along the way, and it's a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people don't give people chances. A lot of people, it's like I promote my people more than I promote me. And like I said, you'll never hear me say I. The downside to that is a lot of people will try to take the recognition for you like they did it on their own. So that's the downside of being the person that doesn't really care about recognition. There's always the people that, hey, I did this all by myself. Like, whatever, if that's what you want to say. That's totally fine. But yeah, it's just, to me, it's, I just look at where I came from. I grew up with a mom who worked 3 jobs. Somehow she made it to every sporting event that I was a part of, so I think, when I think of like where my work ethic came from, it's just watching her struggle. And, there's the working at Walmart to make enough money to buy Christmas presents and put them on layaway and all those things. So, that's a big part of who I am today and the reason I work the way I do.
Yeah. I can relate to that, the layaway and the angel trees for sure. Yeah. So Preston, to go from someone who saw their mom grow up working so hard to someone who like believed for better and always had a big vision, what could you share with our listening audience that may spark them to like move? Because you built these incredible companies. Well, what was the deciding factor and what did you have to sacrifice to get to where you are now?
I'd never sacrifice family. So I just woke up earlier, right? Like I didn't want to miss my daughter's swim meets. I didn't want to miss my son's golf lessons. I didn't want to miss all those things. So I think a lot of times we always have a choice, right? We always have a choice. We all have the same amount of time in the day. If your choice is you want to be a part of your family's life and all those things, and my daughter's a senior now, I would definitely recommend, because it goes by so quick, you always have a choice, and you have the same time. Like for me, that was a big reason I got up at 4, because I knew my son and my daughter had stuff at night. So I'd work from 4 a.m. to 4 p.m. I'm still putting in 12 hours a day. And nobody likes to share. Everybody struggles. Like I question every single day, like why am I doing this? Why do I do this? I could do this and be so much easier. And just move. I mean, you just got to move. Like we all question, we all doubt ourselves. Everybody does. Like if anybody's telling you they don't, there's a lie. Like you just got to take a step forward, and it's easier than most people think, because 90% of people don't ever do what they want to do. They don't ever do the work. And if you just do the work and focus on, that's a big part of why SureSend is win the day. Just focus on the day. Just focus on the day, and everything else will work itself out. You win today, you win tomorrow, you win the next day, then you win the week, then you win the month, then you win the year. And so many people get caught up in like vision boards, which I agree with all those things, but you could plan or you could do. Right. And I choose to just do. A lot of times I don't, like next week, 2 weeks from now, I'm not even thinking about it. I'm trying not to anyway. Like I'm just focused on the things we're doing day to day. And that's a big part of SureSend. Like we focus on day to day of like, what are the things that we wish it had? What are the things that we can build? What are the things we can make it better? What are the things that we could even lower the cost for people? Like how can we bring this technology as a no expense or a low expense? That's a big thing we're rolling out now. So that's the way my mind works. Like how can we continue to add value, but not continue to increase the cost on every single turn?
That was something that Britany and I talked about too, because every time we text you or talk to you, it's like you're always innovating and creating something else. So it's like, when do you decide, like, let's build a tool for this versus let's just work harder?
It's really looking, I mean, the beauty of it is being in this business for 20 something years and understanding, I understand the same pains that you guys are going through, that every team leader is going through, that every agent's going through, because I went through them at some point, and so a lot of that is like, how can we, create something with less clicks that the agents don't have to do stuff. They just do the work and the system builds itself, right? Obviously with AI and everything else, we're able to build a lot faster, but it's really just looking at it. And I always ask my question is like, how can I make more people want to use the software, and how can I make the software do a lot of things that were manual 2 years ago, you could actually do it now, and it happens when you hang up the phone. And then also at the same time of like, how can we build it in a way it doesn't cost more money? And we never build, like I get that question all the time, and I shared this yesterday on social. What can SureSend replace is something I'm asked all the time. And my response is always the same. And I wish everybody's response was like this in tech or real estate or whatever it is. It's like always, we got to dog everybody else. You should be able to just stand on what you're building and what you're selling and let it sell itself. I just say you could use SureSend, and you could make that choice of if it can or cannot replace other software. I can tell you what it can do, but I'm not going to like, well, how does it compare to XYZ? I'm like, I don't know, because I don't sell that software. I'm not building that software. I'm building this, but you could use it. And then if you think that it could do those things that the other software can do, then that's your choice to cancel. But I never go into a call to, it just doesn't make sense. It's like, and at the end of the day, I think anybody that sells like that, whether you're selling real estate, you're selling houses, you're selling software, people question your integrity. You're not selling people more, you're selling less by saying that. And then you become the one that everybody knows that call that company, and they're going to just talk about everybody else.
So good. And
I saw that a lot especially in like construction, and because we were in custom construction, and it was brutal. Like, but we always got the business, and they were like, oh, wow, we went to so-and-so, and all they talked about is like, this, that, and other about you. And then we come to you and you just share what you're doing and what you're building. And a lot of times we got the business that way.
Yeah. We don't even have this as a question that was pre-planned, but I just thought about something. Because you said, Preston, you wake up earlier so that you can do all those things with your kids. And your mom never missed anything, working 3 jobs. My aunt couldn't come to any of my sporting events growing up, and I played all of them because she was always working.
Yeah.
So I really want to go in on legacy with you, because I think you're our first guest that is just like, I have these 3 kids and they mean the world to me, and I'm going to do the hard thing and just wake up before the roosters start
Yeah.
like yeah, he's like pre-rooster crew. I call myself a rooster crewer. He's pre-rooster crew. So like when you think about your kids and everything you're building, do you hope one of them kind of like takes that mantle, or are you building to where they just have freedom of choice to be whoever they want to be?
I mean, I really want them to choose what their own path, right? And, and it's very challenging right now with kids because like our daughter's a senior this year and she's choosing a college. And you really have to think with AI, like what does the job market look like in 4, 6, 8 years? So when you're thinking about it, like, and I talk to my son more because our daughter's hell bent on she's going to be a child psychologist, which you're not going to have your children speaking to robots, right? So that she's safe there, right? That's going to be something she's going to work with children. But I'm having those conversations with my son who's in 11th grade. He's a junior, and it's the world that we're moving into. It's just like changing exclusivity with easy home search. You always have to, if you get set on something when the market's changing, you could go out of business. Like you always got to be willing to make changes, and that's something I recognize is like, hey, we could reduce the cost by 75%. We're still making the same amount of money. We're same netting. It's just allowing those teams to fluctuate that pricing however they want to spend. We still have a ton of organic traffic. But I was having that conversation with him, like you really have to think about the plan of, because marketing is the worst thing to go in right now, right? I mean, there's marketing is getting destroyed, content getting destroyed. So that's really conversations I'm having with them is, what's going to happen when you graduate school? Those labor jobs, plumbing, electrical, all those jobs are great businesses to have, especially if you're a business major and you start those businesses. So I don't know. I mean, I would like them to take it, but at the same time, Easy Home Search and SureSend will be sold before they're out of school. So, but I definitely want to be a part. Like if they want to start a business, obviously I'd be there to help them and everything else. But it's not something where it's not something I want to own in 10 or 15 years. So for me, but I definitely want to have the ability to have the time to help them with whatever they're doing whenever they ask for my help.
That's awesome. So what is your day-to-day like now that you're running? Was it 4 businesses or 5? I think
it's what SureSend Easy Home Search. I just count them as one, responsive, and then Digital Maverick. So it's really 3. Travis, Digital Maverick is easy because Travis is in the office with me. He and I get a breakfast every day as we share quite a bit. I get up still at 4, between 4 and 5. In the summertime, I was sleeping in until 4:45 or 5. Now the kids are back in school. I got to wake up early again. But it's really like I'm on calls a lot with responsive crews, setting up CRM, those type of things. I've always been I took art throughout college, throughout high school. So I drew house plans, probably something most people don't know about me. I could pretty much draw anything. I don't really draw much anymore, but so I really enjoy the product development side. So a lot of the ideas that I send you guys or send you screenshots, it's something I designed. So a lot of times I'll take the ideas and run with it and create the designs, then send it to our designer to polish it up if I have anything crazy. Because when you're building tech, you got to test it over all different screen sizes, iOS, everywhere else. So I'll send it to him, clean it up, and then it'll go into production. So a lot of that's really what I build out the full lender tools that we're rolling out now. It'll be out in the next 2 weeks. So I built all that myself, started that. So I'm doing a lot of that more so than anything now. Is where I would have to hand draw it before. It's like, hey, take this design and run with it. Is I could go in, with Claude Design and different things, Figma, create a lot of the designs, the functionality of it. And that's the beauty of it, I think, is when you think of a CRM, a lot of time people developing CRMs are tech people. Nothing against tech people, but they're engineers and developers, and their brain does not work like sales brains. It's like, oh, let's do this, this, and this. I'm like, that will confuse the hell out of salespeople. So the beauty of what I'm doing is I figure it out, share it with them, explain to them why it should be this way, and then we'll launch it and build it. And so that's probably 50 to 60% of my time, I say, on a daily basis. And then a lot of the others meetings and, talking to Mike or talking to John or talking to our team here, talking with Travis, both Travises, Karsten, who just started with us. So it's pretty much the same every day. It's just different meetings.
Mm-hmm. You said something earlier, and I don't want our listeners to skip past that. And I think it's really important that you got on the podcast from someone who doesn't like the attention. I remember Jennifer texting me. She's like, you got to get Preston on. I'm like, we sent him the link. He hasn't booked yet. And I was like, it's important that we humanize a founder who doesn't like the spotlight because you truly care about the people. And you mentioned something to Jamie and I in a text message before it dropped on social media and via email about cutting the cost of exclusivity with Easy Home Search. Why did you do that? Like, what pain are you seeing right now in the industry?
I mean, there, a lot of it you don't see in social, but there's a lot of people in the real estate industry and the mortgage industry that are in pain right now. I mean, right now, this is just talking to so many different of it. And it's hard for us to see that because we're so ingrained in the Chet Black world that pretty much all those people are doing really well, which they are. They're growing. They're doing all the things to grow. They're the 1% or 0.1%. But outside of that, there's a lot of people struggling. So for me, it was looking at it a way, we did this exclusivity fee and say it was 10 grand, we'd guarantee a certain amount of leads. We have over a couple million organic traffic now on Easy Home Search. So I looked at it from the standpoint, we're guaranteeing this, we're throwing in this tech, we're throwing in this stuff and like feature stacking it. And I was just like, what am I doing? I know that shit never works. So I looked at it from the standpoint of how can we get that $10,000 county to $2,500? And so that's what we changed, where it's exclusivity fee includes SureSend CRM. So it's not only selling leads, it's selling tech. And then you have all the organic traffic, all the traffic that we spend as well. Plus you could choose your ad spend. So say you have a couple bad months and you want to go from $4,000 a month in ad spend to $1,000 a month in ad spend, totally fine. We also did it this way. We can make MSAs and, if you have a lender partner, it's two separate invoices. You have your exclusivity invoice and you have your ad spend invoice, totally separate. So the lender can pay the ad spend, the real estate partner can pay the exclusivity, or it could be the other way around. Like the way we discounted it, it makes a lot of sense for mortgage companies. Like if you're a mortgage company or a lender, you're doing really well, you have 10 agents you like to work with, buy exclusivity, let them spend ad spend. You could put them in the CRM account. They could work the leads out of that account. They don't have to have another CRM account. They could just work inside of there. But really, it was just looking at the pain and just listening to so many people and also getting on calls with people. And they're like, hey, we'd love to have this county, but it's 10 grand. Like before, our most expensive county was 40 grand. Now that same county is $7,500, and it's LA County, which is broken up to 4 quadrants. So somebody could buy 1/4 of that. And it's where before 1/4 was 10 grand. Now it's less than $2,000.
Yeah, it's a huge opportunity. Wow.
Yeah. Just the ad spend part of it is just such a big thing. You're able to fluctuate that and everything else. So
thank you. I was going to say, I know Jamie and I were some of the first teams that started using Easy, and we said yes. And her and I talk often. We're like, oh my gosh, we love the Easy opportunity. And yet there are months where we're like, man, the P&L is looking real scary. And going into the shifting market in Tennessee, it's definitely becoming a more buyer's market. So with me expanding to Nashville, my agents out there, they're like, we don't care about your seller stuff. We want all buyer opportunity. And I'm like, Preston literally just announced that it's now less expensive to buy those counties, which are one of the more expensive counties. So I appreciate you guys being cognizant and aware of what's going on. I know it's so funny because Jamie and I love being a part of the Chip Black community, but having to realize we're just different. Yeah. And that different means that sometimes we can not pay attention to the suffering of everybody else outside of us.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely out there for sure.
I know we're getting close to time because you have to jump to a webinar. So we want to ask you the question that we ask everybody. What does it mean to you to scale like a savage, Preston?
What does it mean to me to scale like a savage?
Yeah.
I mean, really, for me, it means I could help more people. That scale like a savage for me is like adding more users in SureSend. We'll pass 1,000. We just passed 1,000 users. We really didn't start selling until May, right? Like, because that's when we started the free trial. So, whatever you care about, you could always equate that to something like scale like a savage. So for me, words I don't necessarily use, but to me, it means like I'm going to be able to help that many more people. I'm going to be able to help that many more agents, that many more, answer the question. And I think a lot of people too, like they won't come to me and ask questions, maybe because they think I'm an asshole, but I'm just quiet. Like I'm very approachable. It's definitely not somebody to be afraid of. It's just I just don't say a whole lot, so that's just who I am. But I'm not like that once you get to know me. So, but yeah, to me, it's just I just want to continue to grow. I think I share with y'all, I brought in investors and Easy Home Search and SureSend because I want to help other people become millionaires. And would love to eventually sell Easy Home Search and, not anytime soon, but at some point when I do, the people that came on that, they 10X, 20X the amount of money they put in it.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your time today, Preston. I hope you guys took a lot away from this episode. And if you're interested in maybe providing a lead opportunities to your team, Preston, where can they find you and connect with you?
EasyHomesearch.com, partner with easy.com, and then SureSend.ai, all those three. And obviously social media. I'm on Facebook and Instagram, not on TikTok. So Facebook and Instagram.
Love it. Well, guys, until next Friday, I'm Britany Boatwright. She's Jamie Seneca. Continue to scale like a savage. We'll see y'all again soon. Bye.